Look, I opened this jar of rotten baby food, and well, a butterfly came out.
Yeah, I think. Look, I have I have some strong opinions on comedy. I think everybody should give the comic and the comedian the right to take the piss out of them.
Welcome to the Comedians in Elevators podcast. I got my guest, Thomas Terry Williams. Thomas, say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, how you all doing? My name is Thomas Terry Williams. I'm an actor from Ireland. I'm based in the UK at the minute. I'm classically trained, so done a lot of stuff on stage, a lot of Shakespeare, a lot of Greek tragedy, stuff like that. I've also done quite a bit of film and TV work. Probably the most for the audience across the pond. I suppose the most well-known one would be The Tudors with Jonathan Rhys-Meyers and Henry Cavill. Yeah, the rest were most of the other stuff was in Ireland or in.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Thomas, you ready to get started?
Yep, let's do it.
Oh, listen to my regular listeners. I know you don't like when at the beginning of these conversations I ask you to subscribe. None of us like it. I don't like saying it. I don't like it being in here. But it's frustrating. You know what else is frustrating? It's also frustrating when I look in the back end of the YouTube channel and I see the 56% of you that watch frequently haven't yet subscribed. And I know this because I see it in the comments section. You say things like, I didn't know I didn't subscribe. And that's actually what fuels the show. Basically, it's like you're making a donation to the show. So that's why I ask all the time, because it enables us to build and build and build. And we're going for the long term here. Hit the subscribe button and we'll continue to build this show for you. That's my promise. Thank you to all you guys that do subscribe. It means the world to me. All right. So the whole point of the podcast is to compare and contrast the comic versus the comedian. So I define the comic as any person telling funny jokes versus the comedian who's a funny person telling any joke. So Thomas, would you agree that you start as a comic and evolve into a comedian?
Yes, I would think so. Okay, so the comedian is himself telling funny jokes, and the comic is a character. Is that what you're saying?
I'd say it's the other way around, but
Right.
it
Okay.
depends on your experience.
Okay. Well, my experience with comedy is, um, generally I will play a character in a film or a play, and I will always play the character straight. I won't try to be funny, um, because I just think it makes it's more authentic if you just are honest and genuine with the script you've been given, and allow the script to be funny, because it's the writer, really, I suppose, who's the comedian and you're the comic, or maybe it's the
Well,
other
that's a
way around.
good well, that's a good point. So you're saying that if the comic the script is not comedy, I think we'd all agree that you're not supposed to make it funny, right?
Yeah.
So at what point are you adding the humor if it's not in the script?
Okay. So I've actually got a good example of this. Um, I will always play the character straight and allow the script to be funny. But I've been in a few Shakespearean comedies,
Hmm.
and um, the comedy is quite dated. So a lot of people living today would not get the jokes in the Shakespearean language. The
Well, are
Elizabeth.
are there actual jokes in Shakespearean
There are,
comedies?
there are jokes, but a lot of them are very dated. So, um,
Okay.
I played a character called Sir Andrew Eguchi in Twelfth Night, and so to add comedy myself, I physicalized the performance, and I
Right.
based the character on Charlie Chaplin and Stan Laurel,
Okay.
kind of an amalgamation of those two guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's more of my understanding again with the Shakespearean comedies. It's not you do have to. It's more character driven in that sense, where you have to embody it, for example. So it sounds like we're on the same page, right?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So how about the role of persona in comedy? So how much of the comedian's voice is a character versus their real self?
Hmm. I think it depends. It depends on the play or the film. It depends on the style of the play or the film. Um, I think if it's quite slapstick, the voice will not be, the voice will you may have to, enhance your voice or add a voice for the character if it's quite slapstick sort of comedy. Um, the slapstick is kind of it's if we say me and you talking now, if we're at like a 4 or 5, slapstick's like an 8 or 9 or maybe even a 10. So
Mhm.
everything is enhanced and the voice would be exaggerated as well as probably the physicality of the character, I would say.
All right. So then does authenticity matter or is illusion part of the magic?
I think illusion is part of the magic when it comes to slapstick. Um, but if it's just sort of straight comedy where um okay, let me try and get an example of like okay, a film that's really, really funny, um, but I think the characters really sort of sorry, the actors, the performers who played the characters, um, yeah, they didn't really they were just true to the character. Well, most of them anyway. And I would say Tropical Thunder, Tropical
Hmm.
Thunder, where obviously Robert Downey Jr. was absolutely amazing in it. It was a masterclass in acting and comedy, I would say that film. Um, yeah, and Tom Cruise was absolutely amazing in it. The character he played, he's normally like the hero, the action, the love interest, and he was just the character he played was really really good. So the acting was really really. I think they were really true to the character, and they didn't have to. They didn't. Yeah, not as much as you know in a slapstick comedy maybe on stage or something. The characters would be a lot bigger and a lot more exaggerated. Um, don't get me wrong, Ben Stiller he went quite big on that as well in that, so he kind of exaggerated a lot in his role. But I think the acting in it was also really fantastic. Like from like you said, Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Cruise in particular. I really enjoyed those two in that movie.
All right. Well, speaking of Tropic Thunder, how about punching up versus punching down? So, where do comics versus comedians stand on this? And let me put it in some historical context. Did a
Yeah.
jealous medieval prince
Beady, beady, beady,
become the
beady.
first comedian by killing the court jester?
Okay. Okay. Punching up or punching down? Um. hmm. I think I think the comedian punches down and the comic punches up.
Okay. That's interesting. So, I'm curious as the comic and how were you understanding the difference between the comics and especially so he can punch up?
Okay, so a comedian, um a comedian stand-up comedy, the audience are there, and he'll take the piss out of members in the audience, and he'll use them as his focus maybe. Whereas a comic will maybe take the piss out of high society, um, and do it in a way, so, an almost clever way where they're either okay with the comic punching up or he's so clever that they don't even realize that he's taking the piss.
All right. So would you say the audience agreement with the comedian's a form of permission or alignment?
Yeah, I think. Look, I have. I have some strong opinions on comedy. I think everybody should give the comic and the comedian the right to take the piss out of them, because I think a lot of this stuff now with people getting offended and stuff, a comic and a comedian does not want to cause harm to anybody. They want people to laugh. That's all they want to do, is entertain, and people have a good night, you know. And I just think a lot of people these days, they get offended by stuff, and it's like, you've actually gone to see a comedian or you've gone to see a comic. You should just allow what happens and not take yourself so seriously, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how about the cultural translation of comedy? So, how do jokes that work in one country bomb in another?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. I mean, um, yeah, I suppose there's a lot of people that would be, maybe a comedian would be taking the piss out of a lot of people that would be very well known in the UK or Europe, say, for example, and they might not be as well known in the States or in Canada, and so they might, them jokes might bomb. Like, someone might tell a dark joke, and I don't know, say um a joke about patience, and someone goes, "Yeah, I'm a bit like Harold Shipman that way. I have no patience." You probably wouldn't get that joke, but people in the UK would. Well, probably people of a certain age in the UK. Yeah, but it's
Does
quite
that have
funny.
something to do with waiting in lines?
No, Harold Shipman was he's known as Doctor Death, so he killed a lot of his patients. It's quite a dark
Oh,
joke. Yeah,
got it.
yeah,
Well, we're waiting in line for the end of the world, I guess. So, is
yeah.
truth the meaning of facts?
Is truth the meaning of?
Facts.
Is truth the meaning of facts? Not necessarily, no. Truth
Okay.
and fact are different. I think you can have truth in fiction. It doesn't have to be a fact.
All right. Sounds like we got a consensus. So, are comics more universal while comedians are more culturally specific?
Hmm. I think a good comedian will be universal, and before he goes to um before he goes to certain countries where there's different cultures and stuff, he will do his research and adjust his routine or his show. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. So, crowd work versus crafted work. So, if comics riff like influencers in the comments section and comedians perform like in reaction videos, where's the sweet spot?
Whoa. Sorry, could you repeat that?
Well, if you agree that do you agree that comics riff
Yes.
and that comedians do more set material, more written material?
Yes.
So where is the sweet spot between the two of them?
Um, the sweet spot. The sweet spot is, I mean, comedians will improvise as well. And I think the sweet spot is in the improvisation for both. That that's
Okay.
where that that's where the field is level. It's a level playing field. And maybe if there's a heckler in the audience, that's the sweet spot, because both the comedian and the comic will, well, I suppose the comic may not, but I think it has been known for them to respond and shine a light on the heckler, and um, basically pull his trousers down in front of the rest of the
Oh
audience
dear.
with
Okay.
words, with words,
Right,
not with.
right. Well, hey, I've seen some interesting things happen. So very, very important question. Advertising and self-promotion. Who advertises themselves more? The comic, the comedian, or the magician? You know that place where you're not conscious and you're not sleeping either? That's your power bill to the electric company. Right here. I want us to be here with free energy, where the Wardenclyffe Tower meets the Eiffel Tower. But that's not where we are. We are here where you've got the utility and you've got residential solar. Between these two, we know which one saves you money. This is where we can go in the meantime. But this is where I want us to be now, and this can be done now. So let me deputize you to represent DOSE, Department of Solar Efficiency, and let's get on the podcast and get the message out today. See you soon.
Whoa. I would say the comedian and the magician would advertise that would definitely be big on self-promotion and have to advertise themselves.
Okay. And how's the comic different?
The comic's different because he has a team. The comic would have I would say more of a team behind him or her, or what, they, them, or whatever.
A team, a writing team?
A writing team, production team. Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Okay. So is self-promotion,
the comic will be, the writing team will be promoting their work, whereas opposed to the magician and the comedian, they're promoting their own work, if that makes sense.
So you're saying the comics promote, the writers for the comic are promoting the comic, not themselves.
Yeah, well, I think they'll be promoting they will be promoting the comic, but in promoting the comic, they're promoting themselves.
Ah, right. Two sides of the same coin. So is self-promotion seen as selling out, or is it necessary for survival?
I think in today's world, it's definitely necessary to self-promote. And I think you would be a fool not to avail of social media and things like that, to promote yourself as a comedian or a comic.
Okay. Censorship and offense. So does a comic avoid offense while a comedian courts it to prove a point, like a magician?
Yes, I agree with that. And I think a comedian will push boundaries because of definitely, and I'm sure it's the same in Canada and in the States, to push against basically freedom of speech, these new hate speech laws that are coming in and stuff. I mean, I think it's crazy because it in a way it limits comedy, and we should be allowed to laugh. We should be allowed to laugh at everything, and we should be allowed to. I think that the cost of free speech is that some people are going to say things that we don't like and we find offensive, but that's the cost of freedom of speech. And it's okay. You don't have to agree with the person who said something, but I don't think this should apply in comedy. And I think a lot of comedians will tackle social issues through their comedy, and the writers that are writing for the comic will do similar.
I'm with you 100% on that one. So who survives better in a cancel culture environment? The comic, the comedian, the magician, or the mudslinger?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Probably the mudslinger. Although the magician, I know in a cancel culture, I think the magician might be okay.
He'll just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
He'll just disappear.
He'll just disappear, yeah, or hopefully make the mudslingers disappear.
I like it. Okay, so timing and delivery, science or art? So do comics rely more on structure and comedians more on rhythm and emotion?
I think comedians, timing in comedy when you're a comedian is something that's natural, and it's a rhythm. It's either in you or it's not. And I think comics I think comics are, it's the same, but the structure will definitely help.
Okay. So laughter versus applause. So are comics chasing laughs and comedians chasing applause breaks or primetime Emmy that validate the message?
I don't think you should chase either. I don't think you
Okay.
should chase laughter or applause. I think when you try to chase laughter and applause, you don't get it. It's when you're in the moment and you're embodying, the character, or you're in the moment with your routine, um, and you're almost sort of fourth wall stuff. The audience isn't there. I think that's when you're going to get the best result.
Fair enough. All right. Comedy is commentary. So when does a comedian cross into being a philosopher or a preacher?
Hmm. When they're tackling social issues through their comedy, I suppose.
Okay. So is that good or does it dilute the humor?
I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's important. Um, if you laugh, if you as an audience member find something hilarious, and it's hilarious because it's true, it really sort of highlights the issues.
All right.
And
So,
in a really
Thomas,
nice
are you,
way. Yeah,
what's
sorry.
that?
I said it really highlights the issues, and in a really nice way, I think.
All right. I'll agree with you on that. So, are you ready to enter the multiverse?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Board game Zoomcast, play versus performance. So, if comedy were a board game Zoomcast, are you competing as the colorist, adding tone, mood, and shading, or the Foley artist, building punchlines with soundscapes and timing?
I'll be the latter. I'll be the latter in that one.
Okay. So, you're the colorist?
Yes.
Okay. So, does comedy work better when it's painted vividly or when it's orchestrated sonically?
I think painted vividly for me.
All right. So, here on the Comedians and Elevators podcast, we have a tradition where the previous guest asks a question for the next guest. And Thomas, the previous guest was Terry Cleary. And her question for you, Thomas, is who is the first comic you remember?
The first comic I remember is definitely, well, it's two comics, and that would be Laurel and Hardy.
Very nice. Very nice. I like it. Okay, last question. Legacy. Who gets remembered? Will the comic's tight five survive time, or will the comedian's cultural point of view be more timeless?
The comic.
Okay, so that tight five?
The, yeah.
All right. So, Thomas, where can everyone find you online?
So I'm on IMDb, Thomas T. Williams, YouTube, Thomas T. Williams. I'm taking a break. I was on TikTok and other stuff, Facebook and Instagram, but I've I've uninstalled those apps at the moment because I'm writing a feature film, and I find all that stuff way too distracting. I've got too much work to do.
Got it. You don't want that mind virus.
Yes. When you go, oh, I'll just have a look at one thing, and then like 5 hours later, you're still, in that mindless
You're still
distraction.
looking at that one thing. So, well, Thomas, thank you so much for being my guest. And for everyone else, please like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.
Thank you. Take care.